Today I'm finally sharing a product that is going to beat the heck out of the Polymaker polisher, and you will be able to print huge prints up to 60 centimeters high. This is for now a DIY project. We are still doing some iterations, and in the video you will hear me complain about the door system while I'm working on the door, so you can see right now that the V2 is well on its way. In this video is going to be very important that you guys going to be vocal. If this project actually interests you, then you will need to be very vocal so Polymaker can see that there is actually some demand for this product, and maybe in the future we can come up with some sort of a kit where you can buy all the components and the filaments together, so you just have to print it and build it yourself. Well, actually I don't have the system with me. There is somebody else testing the Mega Smoother, but in the video you will see everything you want to know, and we actually have Luke from Polymaker giving his say about the Mega Smoother. He's going to tell you what he's thinking about. So enjoy the video, and remember, if you like the product, make sure to let me know down below. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Not My Shop. Today I am at Polymaker, and we have actually something nice to show off. The avid viewer of the channel will probably know by now that I am working on my own Mega Smoother. Now this is my first attempt at a Mega Smoother, and it all started with that thing right in the corner. So maybe you can tell me what the hell this thing is.
Yeah, so this was the polisher that we launched I think in 2016, and the idea was that you print with this material, which is Poly Smooth.
Yeah.
And the brilliant property about this material is you can smooth all the layers with isopropyl alcohol IPA.
Yeah.
So then we developed the material first, but then we needed a machine to then smooth. So this was our first piece of hardware that Polymaker filament company produced, and it was this little machine, and it had just 150 millimeter plates, and then it was about, I think, 180 millimeters in height. So stuff like this you could smooth very nicely.
Yeah.
But if you want to do bigger stuff, then
like this one guy over here, this is not going to fit. So somebody actually contacted me that wanted something bigger, bigger than this one. So I went on my own little venture to come up with an idea, and the idea is actually right here, and call it the Mega Smoother. So right now, version 1, there's still a lot of things that are going to be changed, like the door system. I'm not super happy with the door right now because we have to use some baby locks and all of that to keep the sealing nice and tight. So that's all going to change. And right now it's intended to be a do-it-yourself project. So all the stuff that you are going to see inside, the electronics that you are going to see, is all bought online, all stuff that you can readily find on sites like Amazon and AliExpress and all of that. So yeah, maybe we are going to have a little look inside and see what we are working with.
yeah. So first, if you can tell us how you've built it, what parts you're using.
Yeah.
Then we will eventually smooth our Polymaker mascot.
Biggest idea for today is that we are going to put that thing in here. This is about 5 kilograms, if I'm right.
5 kilos.
5 kilos, so it's already going to be a big test for the machine. We already went through a few revisions on the motor because they all broke, because we have a lot of torque for the build plate we are using. But so basically we have two main structures. We have the upper side, which is all printed in PLA, and then we have the bottom side, which is printed in ABS. So I used PLA because apparently it doesn't react to isopropyl alcohol. ABS does, but ABS is actually a lot easier to glue together. So that's why the bottom side is an ABS for easier glue up. Then the plate at the bottom is PLA that we have glued with 2 components, and the same on the upside. On the inside where the lighting is also sheets of PLA. This is all printed on one printer, and then we glue it all together to get one big plate inside. So we have also quite a few fans inside to do some circulation, because I think to get a good result of smoothing we need some circulation inside. So we have 4 fans at the back, which are going to transport the alcohol from the system into the complete build chamber, and then we have 2 fans at the front, and those are going to provide alcohol through the build plate, so we also can smooth other undersides from this print, like right over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, what I really liked about your design is these 2 fans that then blow the vapor back up.
Yeah.
Because what happened with the polisher was it would get shot up by the nebulizer at the back, and then it would kind of rain down.
Yeah.
So you would notice that the top surfaces would get smoothed a little bit quicker than any side surfaces.
Yeah.
And I see, like, for example, you have in the inside of the mouth here, the detail and the smoothing that you get on the underside is just as good as the top. So
Yeah.
Really
There's
nice.
a very nice airflow inside. So we are dealing with 4 fans at the back, and those are actually pretty cool fans. It's not your regular fan with ball bearings or with fluids in it to keep it nice and smooth. These are actually more commonly known as maglev fans. You can also find them on the Corsair series from the PCs, the more expensive fans, of course. Basically, the rotors that are in these fans are levitating in thin air, so there are no parts that are going to wear out from the alcohol deposition that's going to accumulate in the fan. So I hope to get a little bit more lifetime out of the fans that way.
And then, so what options do you have on the buttons here?
It's going to be very simple. We have our button for the lighting. We have a button for the fans, just turning them on and off until we decide to turn them off. And then we have the rotating build platform, which is also really cool. This build platform is also completely removable. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. Let's first turn it off. So yeah, the baby proofing, also very annoying right now, but I hope to fix it in a later iteration. But like you can see, the build plate, you can remove it, and everything that's on top, you can just set it aside. You can print multiple build plates if you want. If you have big smooths like that one, I don't think you want to touch it the first few hours. So if you are doing more of a streamlined process, that you have a lot of smoothing going on, is going to be very handy that you just remove it. You can set it aside like this, and then you put in a new one, and you can continue with your printing.
Yeah, I see actually the artifacts are left on the bottom. It leaves very minimal scarring.
Yeah. There are some artifacting things going on, but they are very minimal. And also the design that I used is pretty dynamic. So we have bigger spacings the more we get on the outside for bigger projects. If we are actually printing smaller things like this one, you can put it in the middle where we have more contact area.
And you can print as many custom plates as you need, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is a fixed design right now, but for the people that are a bit skilled, they can easily add a few more of these indents.
Do you want to talk a bit more about the components you have?
Yeah, so we have actually 3 roller bearings. So these are with nylon. These are nylon balls and sort of a housing. And those are going to ride on the underside of the build platform, where we are using 4 prints glued together. But the problem you have with 4 prints is that you get bumps. So the prints never align perfectly, even though I used enough clearance to get them to fit. Depending on the printer that you're using, this is actually printed on the Sidewinder X1, which is right now a very ancient printer. So the fact that we are still getting this is pretty amazing, bit slow, but yeah. The solution for that is that we are using a ring that we glued in, and this ring right over here is going to ride on the bearings inside. So the motor that is going to turn everything is completely decoupled and is only going to do the spinning. It's not going to carry weight.
And is this a printed part also?
Yeah, this is all printed, and afterwards it's glued in with 2 components.
Great, okay.
So in the middle we have the motor, then we have the 3 bearings, and at the back we have 6 diffusers or nebulizers, like we call them. Yeah. Why 6? Because I wasn't really sure if that would be enough. Of course, with the first button we have a cycle function. We can cycle between the jets. So right now there is a control board at the back that is going to control all the jets. And there are actually some neat functions in the ones that you can get from the usual sites. You can cycle between using 2 jets or 1 jet. So you can alternate between how much jets
for
you
a
want to
heavier
use.
polishing.
Yeah,
okay.
But right now I only tested full whack.
Full power, yeah, more,
Full power.
More is more.
Yeah, so right now smoothing stuff like this thing right over here took about 8 hours. I did a double smooth. The system also turns off automatically after about 4 hours. So then you will have to push the button again, and then it will continue for another 4 hours.
And which layer height was this printed?
0.2.
0.2.
0.2 printed at, I think it was right about 280 millimeters a second on the Creality K1.
I mean, it's amazing. You wouldn't even know that it's printed. There's not a single...
Well, there are some artifacts right here, but that's mainly because the Creality K1 wasn't that consistent like I wanted. So those artifacts are also going to be smoothed away, but of course you will still see that it's not 100% perfect, but it's also a problem that I have. I am very harsh on myself, so if I do something, if I print something like this thing, like you already have heard, I hate the door right now, so the door is going to change. Yeah, I'm pretty hard on myself, so I'm also pretty hard on the stuff that I use, like the Creality. If it sucks, and I'm going to say to the public that it sucks.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
In terms of layers, I can't see any, so I mean, that's the beauty of this process. It's all about removing the layers.
Yeah.
This is our scientist model. We've printed it in every color that we offer in Poly Smooth. So I think there's 11 in total. And we did it like this just to show off the colors, but also so to make it easier to
It's still
print.
removable, yes.
So it hasn't been glued together. And the nice thing about using Poly Smooth is you can just paint alcohol on the joining surfaces.
Oh, nice. Can we test it?
And we can do that right now to join
Great.
it all together. Then once it's all, let's say, glued or chemically welded, then we can put it in the
Maybe we
Mega
can do
Polisher.
a test that we glue a few with the brush, and then we put the rest in and see if it glues with the machine.
Sure.
Would that be an idea?
I think for some of the larger parts, I think it will be good just to put a little bit on the inside, but then we don't need to go to the edges, and then we'll see how the Mega Polisher can blend those edges together.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
I'm really interested in the clear part, if I can have this one. So this is actually not that bad. We can look through it. I'm really interested to see what this is going to do in the polisher. And do you think we are going to get really clear prints, or is it still...
Yeah, so I mean, we'll never be able to polish the inside surface because it's one solid object. So if you have a cup and you can polish inside and outside, then the clarity that you can get is really impressive.
Okay, so before we are going to put in the big guy, what's your opinion about the system, and why should people be interested in maybe backing a project like this?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, the results you get are amazing. And I've been working with this material for a long time. Back when we launched it, I loved it. I've always loved it, but I was always limited by the size, and then printers got better or faster and bigger, and then I kind of forgot about it. So it's really nice to revisit Poly Smooth and sort of, I guess, see its full potential. Before, when we were doing smaller stuff, then it was nice, it was cute. But with this, you have the potential not only to make more impressive models, but more functional models.
This one,
You were telling me a process about...
Well, there's a guy that contacted me, and actually this printer, I call it the printer, it's not the printer, the Mega Smoother is actually his. So the first version, I'm going to give it to him because it's his idea, and I want to make a second one. So this is already going to be for somebody else. But the main idea was for that guy to make molds. And the hard part about mold making is that, or you are using something like this and you are going to sand it like crazy, and then you will have to make a mold of it, and then you pour silicone around it, you pull it out, you pour something else in it. And the cool thing with PVB is you can just print the mold, you can completely smooth it and just never have to do any sanding. You pour in your silicone and there is your project. You can use it for all kinds of things, like swords, I think is going to be really great to get out of it. Or if you do any type of prototyping and you want to pour in something else, then I think stuff like that is going to be very handy.
And not only using this process of positive then silicon mold. In some cases, for certain parts, you could just go straight print the negative mold, and then if you're casting, then you can cast straight into it. So you have more options.
It's going to be cheaper, I think, because you don't have to make all kinds of molds. It's going to be cheaper on labor because you put it in the smoother, no sanding required. So it's definitely having some benefits to get something in PVB and smooth it.
Yeah, and then the ability to join multiple parts together means you're not really limited by the size of just your print bed, because this area, what is the total volume that you have?
Right now the build plate is around 42 wide, but I think with a little bit of an overhang you can go to 45. It will maybe be hit a little bit with the jets at the back, but we have 60.5 inside and 42 in the width. So we have a very nice build volume, and right now I think there's no real commercially viable for us, the little makers, that financially makes sense that prints as big as this. So like you said, to glue stuff together and then smooth it in one go is going to be, I think, very nice for the people at home. So how long do you think it will take for the alcohol to make a chemical bond between the two objects?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, yeah. So it's basically the same as with ABS.
Yeah, very similar to ABS and acetone. It's just alcohol is much nicer to work with, and poly smooth is much easier to print and not as toxic. So actually Martin made this design with these little keys, and these keys are also poly smooth. So we have a mechanical a liner.
Not only between two layers, but you have something that is interconnecting between the two prints. It's always very strong way of fusing things together, right?
Yep, and also helps us get a perfect alignment. So we end up with a very nice surface. So
I have noticed that PVB actually has a nice stability during printing. I yet have to see a print warping.
Yeah, prints just, I normally just use regular PLA settings.
I used PLA.
It's a little bit tougher than PLA. I think PVB, which is the base material, was commonly used in the auto industry to manufacture windscreens. So they will use a layer of PVB with 2 layers of glass in a sort of sandwich. So it is a very tough material, but you get that extra toughness, and I think after polishing, all the surface or the layers are then homogeneously bonded together, so the parts become even tougher. I know that the alcohol is acting a little bit like a plasticizer as well. So after the parts come out, they are a little bit soft.
But I have actually some things with me that we are going to test out in a few. And one of those prints, because it's very thin, like you said, is actually bendable right now without breaking. So how long does it take to get out of that flexible state, to get back to a solid state? Or is this print now ruined for life?
No, it will eventually reharden. That depends on how heavy the polishing is, how deep the alcohol is absorbed into it. So if you have like 4 shells or 6 shells,
I'm going to grab it real quickly for the people. So this is the ball I am actually talking about. So this is printed with PVB. This is a bit inspired by the airless basketball you could see on channels like Uncle Jesse and the 3D printing nerd. Only this is a fan design from somebody. So yeah, here you go. Here's your print. And we printed it with PVB. I know PVB is a little bit brittle. So just like other filaments, if we are going to drop it, it's probably going to break. So I have smoothed 2 of them. I have very smooth balls right now. And we are going to see if this is going to affect the layer adhesion of this product. And just like you said, I can now push this print in. It is very flexible. So this phenomenon that we are seeing right now, this is going to get away. Yeah,
so it will eventually fully harden. What I normally say to people when I'm explaining polysmooth is, you know, after like 1 hour, you could dent it with your nail, and then your nail will leave an impression, and then after about a week it will then fully harden, and then you wouldn't even be able to scratch it anymore.
This is done, I think, 3 or 4 days ago.
Okay, yeah, so it's right in between.
It's still pretty flexible. But the other one, I'm going to grab the other one. So this is the Mega Ball, let's call it like that. This is also smoothed, and this is solid. No issues, no flexing, no weird stuff. So this hasn't been as penetrated as that ball.
I guess just because it's thicker also, and it's had more time to dry, so you can hear it. You can hear it's pretty solid. And did you print it in one go with a color change?
Yeah, with a color change.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. The feeling of it is really nice.
Yeah, it's actually really smooth.
I really want to bounce it.
We're going to do that, but not right now. Actually, one thing that is maybe the only complaint I have with PVB is that the support removal is a bit harder than PLA, I found. It is a bit more sticky, and it leaves a lot of sharp edges, I found.
It is
especially on this ball.
A naturally sticky material. but the polishing process does remove that, so then it does.
This is all super smooth now.
Yeah, it becomes super smooth and tactile, and
we still have the bumps where the supports were, but everything smoothed out very nice. We don't have any sharp stuff going on right now. So how is this going to work? We're just going to take a brush and give it a little swipe?
Yeah, that's it. One quick paint brush on each side, and then we just sort of push it together.
Okay, we are nice and close, and we are going to glue our first pieces together, right?
Yes. So first we need some alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol. Do we have alcohol? We have alcohol right there.
Recommend using the highest percentage you can get your hands on. 99% and above works very well.
Right behind the corner, sorry.
There we go.
So 99% because the rest of the parts is going to be water?
I'm not sure exactly what they would put in there. I know in America they denature it with acetone, stop people from drinking it. But in Europe it's a bit different. It depends on your location.
Yeah, never drink your IPA, you will go blind. And if you are very unlucky, you will die. Dat is een fictief effect. Slechte alcohol. We hebben hier trouwens was het in Utrecht, naar een brouwerij geweest. Waar dan ze rum maken. En dan zeiden ze dat de eerste zoveel liter is gedaan.
Oh, yeah?
Ja.
Okay.
So now we are applying some alcohol on the base. And how much time do people have for applying and pushing it together?
You need to be quite quick. So I'm just putting on a little bit, and then the Mega Polisher itself will it will get
really
down there
the
eventually.
Same as ABS. With ABS, you also want to be very quick. It evaporates really quickly.
Yeah.
So you have a few seconds of applying it and then pushing it together, right?
So I'm just gonna paint a little bit in the middle here, so avoid the edges. Get some on this key.
Yeah.
Put that down, and then on the corresponding mating face, paint that key a little bit.
This is actually really nice printed. And what machine is this printed?
I think this was printed on the Ultimaker S7.
So that's the professional printing experience you are going to get.
Yeah.
Or at least they want to believe that
It's got
you're
a
getting that.
nice big bed, so we can do big parts, and it did a really good job on this model.
Yeah, the prints are actually looking really nice. Okay, so now you are pushing everything together?
Yep, push it all together, and then we'll do these faces.
Maybe I can do the other side for you.
Sure.
So this is the only thing that people might get a little bit frustrated about. That is going to be the smell of IPA. It's very volatile. That's why you have to be very fast to apply it. Now, is there something that people can do except for using proper PPE?
Well, good ventilation and a mask is always recommended.
Yeah.
I generally just try work as quick as I can.
Yeah.
Because it's not, but I mean, if you can smell it, then you're breathing it, and it's
it's not super toxic, but I believe that some people can get a headache from it.
If you're working with it for a long time, it's a good idea to always use PPE.
Okay.
Build up. We've got a large surface here, so we can be a little bit more liberal with our application.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see what the smoother will do with all the seams. If it's going to really melt into each other and we are getting almost zero
seam line.
Yeah, the seam lines. If we are going to see that those seam lines are really going to melt together. That's
I think they will always be there, but the surface will be joined and glossy, but there might be a slight little dip.
Maybe like we can see a little bump, just like if your print isn't super smooth from the printer itself. If you're dealing with a printer that isn't consistently printing, you will see that sometimes you can get lines in your print. Those lines are almost gone, but still, if you are looking up close, you will still see that there's something going on with the print quality. So this is going to be nothing different, I think.
So you can see now it's already getting a little bit sticky.
Yeah.
And that's that tackiness that is acting like a glue between the surfaces. You've got to be quick, a little bit like wallpapering, you know, you get a sort of a little bit of time to play around with it before it fully sets.
I think that's going to be the biggest negative of ABS gluing. Once that thing makes contact with each other, I have noticed it's endgame, it's done.
So that's our base done. Is this one free also?
This one is...
it's just...
I think it's parts of the print.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I made a multicolored cow some time ago, and to show all the colors, and yeah, it's still one of our most popular prints. Everyone likes to see it, and
I have seen the coffee cup at Formnext. Was also really impressive to see that it was basically a real coffee cup.
The leg needs one, so that one can go in there. The dowels are all the same, right? Okay.
We have behind the camera actually my contact. We have seen this guy from Formnext. Maybe you can say hi to the people. So this is Maarten.
Hi guys.
You have seen him in the previous video from Formnext.
Yes, yeah.
And what do you think about the project behind me?
Yeah, it's cool to finally see it developed. We spoke about it when we were at Fornex, and then it was just spitballing still, right? Was still an idea.
Yeah, well, and, I was already starting printing, but it was in its infinite stage,
Yeah, well, you didn't really tell me how far you were back then, but yeah, it's cool to see that it's almost finished. And yeah, I'm really eager to see the result.
Yeah, me too, especially for this one. It is actually really cool to see all the colors you have going on.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in the clear one, especially.
Yeah, and yeah, well, I think it'll definitely be an eye-catching
absolutely.
thing. Yeah. All right, well, I'll leave you guys to it.
All right, so we have placed a few of the components. We are almost...
We've just got a few little brims here we just want to clean up, but that's easy to do just with my nail.
I have actually bought a little deburring tool, which is actually nice. You can just run it around the print and it's nice and deburred.
So then next is orange, I believe.
I have also actually...
This might help.
Yeah, that might help. Great help.
As a cheat sheet.
I have actually heard people just brushing it on, the alcohol, without using the smoother, because these things are not that cheap, honestly. You have to invest in a product like this. What is your experience with brushing on alcohol on PVB?
Yeah, I mean, you can get good results. The problem that you face is it evaporates very quickly. So once you've painted it on, it goes on. You go, wow, it looks amazing. Then you come back 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
All alcohol's gone, and then you just see all the layers. And they're just a bit glossier.
Yeah, so you will have to constantly wipe the print.
Yeah, you need to do sort of at least 5 to 10 layers, and it's better to get some sort of container to put over the top to stop it evaporating. Then also you have the problem with runs. So like painting, if you have too much paint in one part, it runs down.
And then you will see...
some parts, it's hard to get a consistent polish.
So this is the mascot from Polymaker?
Yes.
And how do you call him?
Well, we call him the Polymaker Scientist, sometimes even the Polyman. He is designed by a member of our community, and
cool.
he's a scientist. At the back here, he has a polymer chain that he's sort of resting his hand on, but the design is in a way that it doesn't need support. So there's some quite testing overhangs. I think this is the back of his jacket here.
Yes.
This one here, I think, is...
Yeah, that's a very hard angle
about
to
45.
print.
And then it goes back into a nice printing angle.
If you have good cooling, you can go around 60 degrees, but most of the times, once you get to the 50 points, then most printers are really struggling to get nice and smooth results on the overhangs.
And then, and then he has his PPE, his safety goggles, and he's wearing a jacket with the Polymaker logo on the back.
Yeah.
We also have the Polymaker logo on the base as well.
Very cool print.
So yellow parts.
Still move them around.
Yeah, you can still move them around, and you can feel that tackiness.
Yeah.
It's not like an instant set.
Which is great.
Yeah, so it gives you a little bit of time to just do some fine adjustments. Yeah.
With ABS, you were already screwed.
Especially with multiple parts like this. Then
they need to fit right away, or you're in for a bad time.
Yeah, as we get more weight on top, I think it will help.
Give it a little last push at the end.
Help bring it together a little bit.
It's very nice now.
From here, it's looking great.
Yeah, the green.
We have a bit of time to.
Yeah. It's a little bit more forgiving, which is great actually in a glue up. Also, the glue I used in the Mega Smoother is a 2K epoxy, but it is a very slow one, so you have, I think, about 6 hours to apply. No, not to apply, but you have, I think, about an hour to apply it, and then you can still move it around a little bit, and I think it's about 3 hours, and then it's all set. So if you are going to build this in the future, use slow curing epoxy. And I think for most things in life, a little bit slower is always going to be better. Just like 3D printing, we are in the race of the fastest prints. But I have seen that most of the times, if you slow it down just a little bit, you get the rewards in return.
Yeah, then it's always a trade-off. And
yeah, absolutely. But the speeds that we are getting right now, these days, are insane. Who would have thought 5 years back that we are going to print 200 plus millimeters a second consistently?
Yeah. And the head.
Yeah.
Oh,
are we going to drill a hole in it?
If you want to try that, then we can try that.
I would like to give that a try.
The only problem you might come across is when you have a very thin wall and too much alcohol is getting absorbed, then sometimes it can't even support its own weight.
That is going to deform, yeah.
So I think this is, how many, this is just one shell?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
If it's one shell, then I would probably advise not doing it.
Not to do it, okay.
Two,
that's something
two
we
or
can,
above is better.
I will try that in the future myself then. So the build plate is keyed at the bottom and you can just plug it in with the right keys. You will have to do a little duck and look at it from the bottom. But once it's in, it's very solid. And then we have actually a funnel to pour in the alcohol, because the fuller it is, the better, in my opinion. If the alcohol level is too low, I have noticed that we have less evaporation than when the container is completely full. With your nebulizer,
yes,
it's also probably a container beneath, I think.
There's a small reservoir, and then there's a sponge which the alcohol wicks up. And if you have a nice amount of alcohol in there, you get a stronger stream.
Yeah, that's the same on this one.
Yeah. How much alcohol do you need?
It's pretty full. I wasn't able to get it out because I drilled the holes too small to get the sucker from the didn't fit. So we had to drive it like it was, and I think it could take a little bit less than a liter right now to fully fill it up.
Okay.
Before we are going to put it in the machine, we are going to fill it with alcohol, because the fuller the container is, the more evaporation we are going to get. It's going to be very easy. You can see it right now here in the corner. There's a funnel. You pour your alcohol in it, and that's going to be it, really.
Yeah, so you move it, pull one, and then it pulls it away from the other one. So it's a bit of a never-ending battle.
All right, so we have the model right over here, and we're going to take a little closer look of it. Right now it's really looking very nice. It's all glued together, and after this one we are going to put it in the Mega Smoother, and then hopefully it comes out looking like $1,000,000.
Yeah, so we have pretty nice join lines. There's a few little gaps around you can see, but I think the smoothing process should iron all those out.
Yeah.
And if you have a last little close-up, little spin, and then it's ready to go in.
Can we lift it up and just put it in like that?
Just take it in like this.
Yeah. I hope it fits. It fits like $1,000,000, all right. Right, now we can actually have a very good look on the layer lines. Maybe I get you guys a bit closer.
And then now it's going to get trapped in.
So we are now doing a final cleaning of the model. I didn't do it on my prints. I was very lucky that it came out like it looked, with all the dust in my shop. Okay. So right now, guys, you can see that we, with the perfect lighting, you can see that we still have some stepping, which is normal on printing. These little lines are just because we are getting a sharp corner. So this is going to be a very good look at the before. Now we're going to turn on the machine, and I'm going to show you how they do that. Okay, so first of all, we are going to close this panel up. We have some baby proofing to close everything on the seams, and you will notice that even after an hour or two, the smell is going to be almost non-existent right now. Now we have a little latch right down here to make it a perfect seal, because the paneling that we are going to use right now is a bit sensitive on pressures. If you're going to apply some pressure here, it's going to open up at the bottom right there, so the door is definitely going to change. Now, we also have other buttons. This button, for instance, is going to be for the fans. So now the fans at the bottom and the back are turning. Then we have our rotate button. so we can let the model rotate. And then we have the green button, and this is going to activate the jets. If we push one time, then we will see that the 3 diffusers in the back are starting to evaporate, and this will get bigger and bigger the longer these are in working. So at the beginning it's a bit weak, you would say, but after an hour this is going to absolutely smack the chamber full of alcohol. And if you are going to push this button one more time, then you are disabling half of them. If you push it another time, it's going to switch to the other half. But for right now, I would say we are just going to let it run like it's in the system right now. The fans in the back are pulling up the alcohol and they are blowing it in the chamber, giving the printed model a nice circulation of alcohol vapors. And after 4 hours, this system will automatically stop the dosing of alcohol. So right now, the only thing we can do is wait. And this was the first look of the Mega Smoother. I actually left the machine with Polymaker for them to test it on a few objects. They tried it on quite a few things, and the Polyman or the Poly Scientist actually had a little fail. They had caved in because of over smoothing. So you will have to be very careful when you are using thin walls. But overall, they were really impressed with how the smoothing worked. Everything came out really nice, and that little lobster that was on the plate actually looked really amazing. And this is one of the smooths that I did with the Mega Smoother, and you can see it right over here that the smoothing actually does a really amazing job in getting rid of all the layer lines. Also, the bottom is nicely smoothed and you can see some dimples from the build plate, but overall this is very minimal. And like Luke said, you can see that the inside also smoothed really well, so the ventilation and the amount of alcohol vapor seems to be spot on. If this is a project that you actually want, now is the time. Go down in the comments, let Polymaker know how much you want the machine, and maybe in the future we can do something for you guys. If it ends up not being a big thing, don't worry, the files will be online as soon as I think the machine is ready for the public. You will be able to source everything you want on a site like Amazon or AliExpress, and then you can build and print your own Mega Smoother. So that's going to be it. You had your first look, now it's up to you. And guys, I see you in the next one.
Yeah, we were just talking about, I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, the Polymaker figurine page.
No.
Printing all the Pokemons.
Ah, yeah, I saw them. Yeah, you are ticking off all the Pokemons.
They made a new account just for it, and it went to 1 million subscribers in 1 week.
Right away.
Yeah, in 1 week. Yeah, so it's
cool topic.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah, everybody loves it, right? So,
I think a Pikachu would be great in this machine.
Yeah.
A multicolor Pikachu in this thing. Yeah. No brainer.
We can print that.
We can definitely do that. Yeah.
But this one is not a
you can
a 1.75, right? This is a bigger filament.
We have 2.85. We have all the colors, so
we can,
and you can put 6 colors in.
So even for that big of an wire, this
started now. It'll be ready by the time you get back from China.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, we can try.
Well, I have no printer with an EMS, but that might change this year. There are a lot of EMS systems launching. Yeah. Creality is launching theirs. Anycubic is teasing an EMS. We have Frozen with the EMS.
Yes.
So it's definitely going to be a few solutions.
Yeah, problem is still the purging, right? On these.
Yeah, it's a massive waste if you are doing a lot of color changes.
Sometimes the waste is more than the
yeah, that's crazy.
Itself, right? So
that's why the Prusa actually is very nice. It's still a bit janky, but
I see mixed result, but
I think once it works, the multiple print head is going to be the way forward.
It's a better solution.
Definitely.
Definitely for bigger stuff, but still, I think this is very clean. And
there's still some print issues.
You have 4 materials in a nice package.
Are you happy with the bamboo?
Yeah.
With the system?
Pretty happy.
As I said, it's the only printers that are running these days. In this office.
If you got to do something,
and you don't want to mess around.
It's reliable and quick. It's hard to.
Also,
it's hard to choose something else, right? We have a lot of options here. We're lucky.
And they are becoming paperweights by the day.
Just collecting dust.
The Old Faithful.
Well, this is the.
The Old Faithful was the Mark III.
Yeah, this is the
still
4.
works sometimes.
I made a lot of content.
What's your opinion on the FL-Sun? You like the kinematics?
Yeah,
Well, it's not.
but
plugged in,
the
right?
extruder I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very underpowered.
but the motion system seems to be
is
really
nice.
good.
Yeah, yeah. And
Very smooth and fast.
yeah, smooth, very smooth.
Yeah.
And the clipper runs nice, but the extruder it's just too the motors just doesn't have enough power. In my
Yeah, we
opinion.
got a lot of billowing on the top surfaces, right? Top surfaces were very bad.
Under extrusion.
And under extrusion also
Yeah.
in the walls. When you remember the Halloween bundles? There was a bit of some speckles in the side, right?
Especially if you go at the 400 advertised.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
still,
the profile
yeah.
starts at 400, right? And then you were like, you can never.
I think it's still the biggest problem on the consumer printers is that they put chipped extruders in it
Yeah.
to cost down, and then you get
Yeah.
mediocre results. While the system is great, you get held back by extruders, or that's a bit sad.
Yeah.
And I think that that is something that Bamboo really did fine, making
yeah,
it
the extruder's good.
that
Yeah.
everything just works.
Doesn't handle flexibles very well. Though.
Yeah, that's the only downside. Eh?
That's why this one is turned on, was turned on today, because I was trying to print TPU 90.
Also failed.
Also unsuccessful, but
90 is already pretty soft.
Yeah.
98, on most printers 98 will
Yeah.
work, but yeah.
The wasn't able to, the Bamboo wasn't able to do it.
Bit or without the EMS. EMS is troublesome, but even without,
Without the ABS,
No, it won't accept
AMS
it in
even.
AMS.
yeah, so it's not great
AMS,
for.
it doesn't work at
If
all.
you try and select TVU, it says no.
Yeah,
You have to mount with.
probably because there is no tension system that you can adjust. There's not enough tension for the more.
Yeah, it needs a bit more of a rigid filament to push.
Yeah.
It's like pushing.
Pretty
it.
intricate path as well, right?
Yeah.
It goes first. It goes like this, then it goes like this. So
Yeah,
it makes like about 2 or 3 turns.
yeah, not great.
Yeah.
If you have a brittle filament.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, the inside is also super smooth, so
Yeah?
it's you take a look. And the
Does it
nuts.
Have you
Well,
tried to bounce it?
no, that's for the video. I made a little shorts and I did a little poll with the results.
Yeah.
It might give.
I did a poll on my Facebook
alright.
page, on my YouTube channel, and more of 70%.
quite bouncy,
It's
right?
promising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of 70% of the people think it's going to be an epic fail.
Really?
I'm
Oh, you did a
going
poll?
to.
Ah.
Yeah, I did a
How
poll.
many people replied?
Well, I'm pulling it up right now.
You see, it's printed like this, right? So if you bounce it along this way, then the
Yeah.
layers will take
So
straight.
25% says it's going to bounce to infinity and beyond. 75 epic fail.
Okay.
So I hope
See, that's
to.
the only option.
Yeah. So
There's,
I hope it's going
should
to
we do it
bounce.
then?
Yeah, we're going
We,
to set up maybe